Well, hello and happy Tuesday. It is digital host A.J. Wuest welcoming you back to Before the Four, where I talk about some of our top news stories and then some before our 4 p.m. newscast. Wherever you're watching right now, whether that's on Facebook, YouTube, or the 48 Now live stream, thank you for watching and spending a little of your Tuesday afternoon with me here. Now, what is a skill everyone should have? That is the 48 Facebook question of the day, and I cannot wait to show off what some of you all had to say. Make sure to stick around for Facebook fun at the end of today's Before the Four. But until then, I think it's time we dive into some of today's top stories. And of course, starting things off, we've been hearing of several school threats from across the Tennessee Valley recently following the school shooting in neighboring Georgia last week. Sparkman High School and several others out in Madison and Marshall counties, to name a few, were placed on heightened alert with added safety measures due to these threats. 48 Savannah Sapp today is in Marshall County reporting on and working to learn more about the campus threats. She will have more on those threats out in our upcoming evening newscasts. And now, I think it is time we have to talk about the weather for a bit. With Tropical Storm Francine moving in, 48 First Alert Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis and our 48 weather team have decided to declare Thursday and Friday a 48 First Alert weather day. Brad Travis with more.
AJ, the latest coming out here again, as it always does, from the Hurricane Center at 4 o'clock. We're still waiting on it to become a hurricane. The wind gusts around here is one thing we're following. That and the rain. That's the real main threats here, is the heavy rain and the wind gusts. Next update again coming out at 4 o'clock. Here's the latest track from this morning. First glance, looks like it's intensifying just a little bit this afternoon. It has been really fighting off some drier air. There has been a shift in some of the model guidance east. So we'll see what the new guidance here from the Hurricane Center has to say. It may shift east as well. And we're starting to see again the continuation of this heavy band that's continued to show up here with the European model in some of our areas. And if we did get 5 inches of rain, that is a big concern. Here's the latest, the RPM model. It's a high resolution model. We start the day with rain and gusty winds. And notice how the area low pressure here in this black circle, that's a little bit farther east, but it still tracks back to the northwest as that area high pressure off the Atlantic coast pushes it more westward. But this is when we're going to see those bands of strong gusty winds accompanied with heavy rain. So at this point, with this banding, if this is indeed what happens, we're going to see less rain overall in one general area, but still some intense rain, and we'll have to watch out for high wind and embedded tornadoes within these bands here as they come in around that area low pressure. Starts to move off to the northwest. However, it's going to park somewhere between western Tennessee and southeast Missouri, and that means our chance of rain will likely be continuing into the weekend. So again, severe weather threat is low. We're mainly dealing with some high winds, and those will be wind gusts and very heavy rain. I don't think we're going to get a lot of lightning out of this system because there's not a lot of instability. That's one thing about these tropical spin-up tornadoes. If we get them, chances are they're not going to be strong, but we'll have to watch out for them. Back to you.
Well, thank you, Brad. Now in Huntsville, a second teenager has been charged with capital murder in connection to a fatal shooting in Huntsville that left another boy dead. According to the Huntsville Police Department, an unidentified 15-year-old boy was taken into custody by the U.S. Customs and Border Protection in Cocoa Beach, Florida on Monday. Authorities said the boy was leaving a cruise ship when he was arrested. Along with the capital murder charge, the boy is charged with 2 counts of assault. The charges stem from this fatal shooting that happened on Max Luther Drive last Tuesday, September 3rd. The shooting left 15-year-old Philip Wayne Fletcher dead. 16-year-old Torres McCrae was also charged with Fletcher's death. And now, the countdown is on for the face-off between former President Trump and Vice President Harris for the highly anticipated first debate tonight. NBC's Peter Alexander has more.
Just hours from now, the first and maybe only presidential debate between Vice President Harris and former President Trump. The face-off also notably the first time the two rivals will have met. Trump skipped President Biden's inauguration where they would have all been together.
How are you feeling?
Harris arriving in Philadelphia Monday after a series of mock debate sessions, complete with a stage and TV lighting, according to campaign sources. Sources also tell NBC News Harris and her team are focusing on ways to try to needle Trump, to provoke him, and that Harris has studied past Trump debate clips, like those where he lashed out at Hillary Clinton in 2016.
Such a nasty
trust fund.
And repeatedly interrupted Joe Biden 4 years later.
Vote and let your senators know how strongly you feel. Vote now. Make sure you, in fact, let people know you're a senator. I'm not going to answer the question because the question is
radical left.
Will you shut up, man?
But tonight the rules say the mics will be muted when it's not a candidate's turn to speak. Harris previewing her mindset.
We should be prepared for the fact that he is not burdened by telling the truth.
Less formal debate prep for the former president. Among those advising him, former Democratic Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, who tangled with Harris in a primary debate 5 years ago. Now, some of Trump's allies urging him to focus on policy. His rival turned supporter Nikki Haley delivering this warning.
Donald Trump and J.D. Vance need to change the way they speak about women. You don't need to go and talk about intelligence or looks or anything else. Just focus on the policies.
Tonight's debate punctuates a frenetic 3-month political stretch that began with President Biden's dismal debate performance that ultimately forced his exit from the race.
If we finally beat Medicare.
Among Trump's priorities to tie Harris to Biden, and with the polls still neck and neck, tonight poses what could be the last major shakeup in this race.
Well, thank you, Peter. Now a story in case you missed it. A Sylvania family is still in shock after they say someone set fire to their hay bale tribute to former President Donald Trump. 48 Savannah Sapp reported yesterday. The family is now offering a $1,000 reward to anyone with information on how their daughter's creation was torched. Savannah spoke with Auburn University junior and Sylvania resident Maddie Jackson yesterday that she just wanted to bring joy to passing drivers.
Yeah, my family is very supportive, and all the community is talking about helping build it back. So I know it's going to be bigger. That's all I know. I don't know. We might do something different, but I haven't made up my mind yet.
And staying in DeKalb County, a man was sentenced to life in prison following 2 attempted murders. DeKalb District Attorney Summer Summerford announced Tuesday. Authorities responded to a reported stabbing in the Rainsville area on January 7th of this year. A deputy said he found Ballard Pennington Jr., who you're currently seeing on screen, walking down the road close to the home where he was responding to. The deputy said Pennington had blood on his hands, and he stated, "I think I killed my mom and dad." The deputy continued to his home and found an elderly man and an elderly woman who had been stabbed multiple times each. The pair was brought to an area hospital. Pennington entered a guilty plea of 2 counts of murder today. Authorities said his extensive criminal history also played into his sentence. And now another story in case you missed it. In Decatur, Mayor Tab Bowling says he plans to complete his 5-year term. Now on August 30th, Bowling stated in an audio recording obtained by our news partners at the Decatur Daily that he would step down in January of this year. His term is set to end around August of 2025. In the same recording, Bowling allegedly said he would step down if the protests at his home would stop and if the public comments during city council meetings about him would also stop. Now on Monday, however, he stated that he plans to stick it out for the remainder of his term. The calls for Bowling's early exit came from protesters who have lined the streets in support of Steve Perkins and his family. And now in Athens, police are continuing to investigate after a shooting that left a 33-year-old dead. 48's Callie Neese with the details.
I'm not sure. I think a lot of it is people react without thinking.
Police say they are still working on their investigation into Saturday's shooting where 2 people were hit by gunfire. Athens Police Chief Anthony Presnell said that when they arrived on the scene, there was a lot of commotion.
You know, the shootings, we have shootings occasionally, but the aftermath, the fights and the crowd and stuff is not something that's norm for us.
That fight ended with 33-year-old LaDevin Kutchner dead on the scene. Investigators say Athens High student is charged with Kutchner's killing during a fight where Kutchner is believed to have wounded another person. Presnell told me he has seen an uptick in shootings involving teens. He said he's not sure why it keeps happening, but they need to think about their actions.
I think a lot of it is people react without thinking. You know, if you sit there and think about what you're fixing to do and how it's fixing to affect you for the rest of your life, because you got a 17-year-old kid now charged with murder. You know, if he's convicted, he's going to be sitting in prison. He's not going to be out with his family doing things. So people's got to slow down and think about what they are doing before they pull the trigger. I'm not sure.
Thank you, Callie. Now, tomorrow will mark 23 years since 9/11, the tragic day that effectively created the Transportation Security Administration as we know it today. And the agency says it is constantly keeping an eye out to protect the traveling public. NBC's Adam Tuss met up with the TSA today at Reagan National Airport for a safety demonstration.
At first glance, these items may not be what they seem. Shoes that have explosive material in the soles.
Remove the lining, and you can see right in here that there's an explosive device.
Toothpaste that has powder inside.
Look at that. You've got some explosives in there.
A crutch with an explosive device tucked inside.
We remove the rubber. What have we got in here? We've got some more explosives. There we go.
The bad guys are out there.
Those individuals who want to cause harm, our adversaries, are very good at what they do.
And if you wonder why you have to take off things like jackets and shoes at the TSA checkpoints, well, this is why.
Well, you know, the TSA says it's constantly getting new information about potential new threats. How about a hat? You might wonder why you have to take that off. We'll take a look at what could be concealed inside. Some explosive materials here and a detonator. They'll take this, use it to train TSA officers to make sure that everyone is safe.
Just recently, ahead of the Olympics in Paris, an explosive device found in a hotel close to the airport there. TSA explosives specialist Manuel Vega.
It was just like the hidden bomb, but it was a flat pack of explosives meant to be hidden on your body somewhere. So what we did is we replicated that device and sent it out and started training our TSA personnel.
We have to stay on our toes, and we're constantly testing our officers on the x-ray machines. We're testing them on how well they do pat-downs.
Staying alert so that we all can have peace of mind.
Now, yesterday, Hollywood lost a legend. James Earl Jones, the trailblazing actor who voiced Darth Vader and starred in countless classic films, passed away at 93. Steve Patterson now on his life and legacy.
I shall pray for you. For over 70 years, he graced stage and screen with a voice that commanded attention.
Don't you try and go through life worried if somebody like you or not.
James Earl Jones was born in rural Mississippi in 1931. As a child, he developed a debilitating stutter.
You never get over it, really. You simply learn how to work around it.
Just want to block and then keeping him off me.
His breakthrough Tony-winning performance came as boxing champ Jack Johnson in The Great White Hope, which was later turned into a movie.
I am your father.
But it was a 2.5-hour voiceover session for George Lucas that changed his life. The role propelled him, or at least his voice, to worldwide fame as Darth Vader in Star Wars. For the next 40 years, he excelled on stage, winning a second Tony Award.
James Earl Jones.
And on the big screen, a Navy admiral in The Hunt for Red October.
I was never here.
In The Lion King.
You are more than what you have become.
and the voice of all baseball fans in Field of Dreams.
People will come, Ray. People will most definitely come. May I have your attention, please?
On screen and in life, James Earl Jones was a king.
The goal wasn't to be a billionaire or to be a Hollywood star, to be a part of good storytelling. The goal was about that. I found you!
He found his voice, and we got a legend. Steve Patterson, NBC News, Los Angeles.
A legend indeed, and I'll never forget one of my favorite movie monologues of all time comes in the film Field of Dreams, and that is James Earl Jones right there with that baseball monologue. It's just one of the greatest monologues of all time, but he will certainly be greatly missed. Now, I know it is only Tuesday, but some of you watching might already be looking ahead to the weekend and wondering what might be going on here and around the Rocket City. One thing going on, especially if you're in the business of cool and unique finds, the Rocket City Junkfest at University Pickers Huntsville is one thing to check out. They got a little of everything. Like one of the local boutiques in my hometown used to always say, if we ain't got it, you don't need it. Today, I got the chance to speak with co-owner of University Pickers, Trish Gleason, for 48 Now, and take a listen to what she had to say about this weekend's event. Cool. So it's the Rocket City Junk Fest. For you, Trish, define what junk is.
Junk. Oh, goodness. It could be rusty. It could be old, it could be even new. I mean, it's a combination of just junk is kind of really what we all have all around us. And it's just, to me, it's a treasure. To somebody else's junk. It's just always fun to go hunting and finding that one thing that speaks to you.
Absolutely. You never know what you might find. That is for sure.
Exactly.
But talk about all like the festivities and the entertainment that will be there as well.
Yes, we have, I was just notified Milltown is one of our music acts, and we also have McLean Lawson. So we have music from 11 to 1 and then 2 to 5. So we're super excited to have that again, our first time having some live music at our events. We also have, I think, over 85 vendors have signed up. We have 3 food trucks, which are, I had to write them down. We have Chicken Salad Chick, Pacific Pearl Kitchen, and my mind has gone blank, but there's a barbecue, and I apologize for not remembering that name. And then we also have our full-time coffee shop on site, Cafe Tayo.
Very nice. Well, the food definitely does not sound like junk. That is for sure. Cool. So it's the... No, it doesn't. Yeah, that food definitely sounds good to me. When she was talking about it earlier, my stomach was growling a little bit. I was like, I think I'm going to have to check out this Rocket City Junk Fest. That is for sure. Now, a super cool event there. Stay tuned for that full 48 Now interview to be published on our website, WAFF.com, very soon. And another cool interview I did today, the Rose of Sharon Soup Kitchen is holding a food drive event this weekend at Mad Malt's Brewing. There'll be good food, drinks, and musical performances from a variety of different artists, all for a good cause. Now, I spoke with Teresa Wilson with Rose of Sharon, as well as Kirk Jones. If you all remember, Kirk was the guy I interviewed a few months back about his ukulele lessons, a very good ukulele player here in the Huntsville area. He'll be performing. There's this, he'll be performing with a bunch of different artists this Saturday, but take a listen to the details.
So I play semi-regularly at Mad Malt's Brewing, here in North Huntsville, and the owner asked me, he's like, hey, would you like to do a fundraiser? And I said, yeah, that'd be great. And he's like, well, what do you think? And then I got together with the manager there, Amy, and we came over a couple of different ideas, and I suggested Rose of Sharon Soup Kitchen, and she said that sounded great, so it's happening. This is going to be great.
And Kurt has partnered with us in volunteering and bringing his ukuleles and his talent to the Rose of Sharon for our patrons, and we've really enjoyed him and his support. Yes, the Rose of Sharon is a grassroots organization here in Huntsville. We've been in Huntsville over 20 years. We're serving over 300 meals a day to anyone who's hungry, no criteria, walks through the door. We help with food boxes, but we also help with being the solution to the problem, getting people off the streets, getting them into rehabilitation centers, helping them with housing issues and identification and things like that. So it's a family atmosphere. We dine with dignity there, and it's a super organization.
I love that.
So,
Dine with dignity. She could not have said it better. Now, that is a super awesome event. But keep an eye out for that 48 Now interview as well within the next few days on our website. Also, come on out this weekend. Bring something with you to donate. They have a whole list of things that they will accept for donation. They did mention they do not do clothes, so do not donate clothes, but everything else should be good to go. Anything, very good cause there. So super awesome soup kitchen and the food drive going on there. And just have a great time. Now, another story. Roughly half of students feel they're not prepared for life after graduation. Now, that's according to a recent poll of students nationwide. NBC's Mike Savino had a chance to talk with some students and found some struggle to see a career path for them, and that can lead to a lack of motivation.
I was very much that kid that was like, I don't know what I want to do.
Andrew Grisowich felt lost as he was headed into high school. That was until a guidance counselor suggested he go into a theater program, and suddenly he was excited for his classes.
It was a lot of fun getting to come here and realize that, like, this is what I'm going to be able to do.
It's a feeling many students never get. A recent Gallup poll found 1/4 of students aren't excited by even a single teacher. 51% don't feel challenged, and 49% say they don't feel prepared for the future. Students say schools become more engaging when they have a teacher who excites them for their own future.
It helps explore their interest in who they're going to be as a person.
Educators are trying to do that. EastCon, for example, has specialized magnet schools and career pathway programs in traditional high schools to show students their options.
It is a lot to take on, to be thinking about what am I going to do, and it can drive anxiety up.
But students say that doesn't happen for everyone, and it's easy to get lost if educators and parents aren't helping them find the best path.
There's more paths than just the ones that you guys were laid out in front of you when you guys were our age. If a teacher doesn't pay attention to students specifically, then you kind of are just lost.
Well, thank you. Now let's head into the stories you're just not going to want to miss in our evening newscast. The latest on a new law that now forces all Tennessee schools to screen a pro-life video to its students. 48's Callie Neese will have more details on that coming up. Another story you're just not going to want to miss. The latest on Senator Tuberville putting a hold on a military promotion. Get those details there. And finally, what all is going on across the Tennessee Valley to remember September 11th tomorrow. These are just a few of the stories you're just not going to want to miss in our evening newscasts. And now I have kept y'all waiting long enough, I think. I think now is the time we head into Facebook Fun. And like I said earlier, I said the question was, what is a skill everyone should have? A skill that I know a bunch of skills that I wish I had, but I do not have. And yeah, there's actually, we don't even have to go into all of those skills that I wished I had, because there are a lot of those, believe me. But let's see what you all had to say are skills everyone should have. Judy Williams said, how to budget and balance a checkbook. And Judy, yeah, I think that's a skill I would like to have. How to budgeting, very important to do. Setting up a retirement plan, that is also important to do. And balancing a checkbook. All super, super crucial things that you need to know, and they're very good skills to have. I mean, I'm not the greatest at it, but Judy, I am trying to get better. Trying to get better at that for sure. But Judy, thank you so much for commenting. Let's see what else you all had to say. Brandon Martin said, cooking. Yeah. That's a skill I wish I had, that is for sure. And growing your own food, being a homesteader, absolutely. That would be an awesome skill to have because, you know, you won't have to rely so much on the grocery stores and the produce in there because you can just grow your own. That would be an incredible skill to have. And, you know, it sounds fun, honestly. It sounds fun. To be able to grow your own food and say, yes, I ate this. My mom, my mom is definitely, she has a garden, she grows a lot of her own food. And I know one of my favorite things she makes is salsa, and it is all stuff she's grown in her garden, like the tomatoes, the onions, the cilantro, and everything that comes in salsa all is grown in her garden. And I think that is just super cool, just to say, yes, I did that, I grew that. That would be an awesome skill to have. And yeah, cooking, that's a skill my mom has, and I wish I inherited that one, that is for sure. But, you know, Brandon, thank you so much for commenting. That is an awesome comment. Nancy Jacobs said perseverance. That is 100% an awesome skill to have. Not getting down when times get hard. Absolutely. Just keep on pedaling, keep driving, keep on going. Nancy, wonderful comment. Thank you so much for that. And let's see. Patricia White said survival skills. Yeah, that's a good skill to have, being able to survive 100%. And common sense. Patricia, that 100% is probably the best skill to have is common sense. A lot of people do not have that skill, I have noticed. But Patricia, thank you so much for commenting. Wonderful comment there, and wonderful comments all across the board. I will say, Patricia, you had the popular comment. A bunch of people today commented common sense, which yeah, I 100% agree with that. I think common sense is a wonderful skill to have and a needed skill to have. But Patricia, thank you so much for commenting. And with that, that just about does it for today's Before the Four. I want to thank you for sticking around, whether that's on Facebook, YouTube, or the 48 Now live stream, and spending a little of your Tuesday afternoon with me here at the Before the Four desk. If you haven't done so already, make sure you download that 48 digital app. Make sure you download the 48 weather app, and as well as the newly launched, it launched back in July, the 48 Sports Zone app. I know we have a bunch of local high school football fans, and I mean, week 3 of the high school football season across the Tennessee Valley is already here. That is crazy. It feels like we were just now gearing up for week 0. And it's crazy to think we are now in very much full swing of the local high school football scene here. So you're going to want to get that app, and then definitely for Thursday and Friday as we prepare for the tropical storm making its way into Alabama, you're going to want to get the 48 First Alert weather app and also the 48 digital app. Turn on all those push notifications, and you will never miss a breaking story. But that is just about all the time I have today. But as always, I want to thank you for watching. You all have a great night.